Hello, welcome to the James Cooley Show. It's your life. I'm your host, Dr. James J.C. Cooley, and I tell you, I am extremely excited about this guest that we got on the show today. Uh, One thing, and I'm not going to give it away right now. I love their music, and you love their music too. I'm just giving you a little hint. But we are going to have an absolutely magnificent show. And Michelle, I know you got all the albums. I know you got them all.
Well, I love the music. I love the song that's going to be played later in the show. And this guest is going to tell us about his background and just the amazing collaboration that he did with an amazing classic band.
Well, he was several amazing bands, but
Yes.
this one in particular. And Todd, I know you're excited about the show today.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun one. And it's something a little bit different than the norm, so I'm looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to it as well. So, what we're gonna do, Todd, we're gonna lock everything in at the same time: television, radio, live streaming platforms, YouTube, everything in at the same time. So, let's get ready to do it.
All right, here we go. We're locking in all the media and all the stations of the TV and the radio right now.
It's Your Life is sponsored by James J.C. Cooley.
Doctor James J.C. Cooley. The James Cooley Show. It's your life.
Hello, welcome to the James Cooley Show. It's your life. I'm your host, Dr. James J.C. Cooley, and we got an absolutely fantastic, magnificent, superb show coming your way today. So, say, James, you say that all the time, but all of them are superb. you but we got this special guest coming on your way, coming all the way from London. And you have heard some of the groups that he have collaborated with, big time, some of major groups. And I am excited about the show today, and you will be as well. So I tell you what, I can't start anything without Dr. Michelle Cooley. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Wow, this is a different show. We've had musicians on the show, but you know, um, I'm just really excited to talk to this guest and for him to just tell us about. I'm not going to give it away until it's time, but I'm just really excited.
Okay, I'll tell you what, why don't we do this? Why don't you tell our viewers and our listeners the title of the show, the purpose of the show, and introduce this absolutely magnificent guest.
Oh,
And then you can tell which group he's been a part of. And
okay. Okay, the title of today's show is Eddie Howell's Man from Manhattan. We're having a sit-down discussion with Eddie Howell. He's a renowned musician and songwriter. He's going to talk about working in the upper echelons of the British rock world in the 1970s, reflection on Queen's role in his once-banned 1976 hit, Man from Manhattan. He's going to discuss the collaborative process and experience working with Queen and many other artists, and also his individual career. So again, his career has spanned decades, collaborating with some of the biggest names in music industry, including Phil Collins, Gary Moore, and members of Queen. His work has been covered by artists like the Monkees and ABBA's Frida. With the recent release of the remastered Man from Manhattan, available both as a limited edition vinyl and on major streaming platforms, Eddie continues to celebrate and expand his musical legacy. Please welcome to the show, Mr. Eddie Howell.
Hello, world. Hello. Wow, that was some build up. Thank you. I'm never going to be able to live up to that, but I'll try.
Mhm. Well, we are happy to have you on.
Thank you.
extremely happy to have you on there.
Nice to be here.
Yeah, I tell you, I'm excited. I always have been a big Queens fan and ABBA fan and Phil Collins. I mean, all of the major guys that you've been working with over in England, they are super major here as well.
Talented.
So
Talented.
yeah. So first of all, we're gonna play that song, but I need your permission. I need for you to say that you authorize me to play the song, so copyright infringements and all of that stuff is not gonna come back and beat me up.
That's absolutely fine with me, James. You can play that song with pleasure.
Hey, I appreciate.
No, the horse is mad.
I had to get it out there because you know how certain platforms and networks and how many to do that. So first of all, Eddie, can you tell our viewers and the listeners a little bit more about you, where you grew up, where you at right now, why you so passionate about what you are doing?
Um, okay, I'll give you a synopsis of how it started. I was born in a place called Birmingham, which is the second biggest city in the UK. It's up in the Midlands there. It's about maybe 120, 150, no, about 150 miles from London, up north. And my dad was an avid record fan. He was a singer. He loved music. Uh, he always had a really, really hot record collection, all the old greats, Duke Ellington, Count Basie, Louis Armstrong, Ella Fitzgerald, Frank Sinatra, all the greats. And he was a great songman. And I remember every Sunday when he was at home, he'd go to his room there and he'd put his record deck on. He'd have a few uh, beers and he'd put all his favourite records on. And after about half an hour, he'd always call me into the room. And it was always Frank Sinatra. Edwin, he said, Edwin, you must listen to this. And he'd magnify a little phrase that Sinatra was singing. He was an absolute connoisseur. And I was thinking, oh no, here he goes again, because I was just tuned to rock and roll and rhythm and blues and skiffle. And Sinatra sounded really kind of old hat and boring to me. So I just said, yeah, but this happened. But now I look back and think about what he said, and of course he was absolutely right. These people were magnificent. They really were studied and great at their work. And I suppose that's where I got my enthusiasm for music from, my dad. And I then sort of by accident really heard a song called Please Please Me by the Beatles coming through a wall in some club. And I just said, what's that? What's that? I was about 14 or 15 or something like that. I couldn't believe it. It was Please Please Me. Last night I said these. Brilliant record. And I remember getting the record, looking at the label and seeing Lennon and McCartney in the writing credits, I don't know, but for some reason, that's immediately, I knew that that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to write songs like these guys, just wanted to do it. I suppose that was the catalyst. And then I started to write songs when I was about 15, 16. They were not very good. They were little Beatle copies. But I developed. And round about 18, 19 years old, I started to bring my little songs down to London, knocking on doors of publishers and record companies, trying to get them interested in what I was doing. I just recorded songs with a guitar that I'd learned the rudiments of, on a little 4-track tape recorder. So they're very basic demos. And nobody wanted to know. So I kept on. I mean, that's the thing. If you believe in yourself and you're confident, just keep on, You don't really, it's like falling off a log when you get rejected after a while because you get so used to it. But you stay at the table and you might get served, eventually.
So Ed,
I carried on.
So who was the biggest influence on you where you knew that, hey, this is what I want to do. This is what I am going to do. Who were some of the influences that, you locked in on what they were doing, their ideas, and learned from them by watching, by talking to them, and just getting a better understanding of the industry?
Are you talking now about musical influences or?
Yes. No,
Musical influence.
who inspired you the most is what I'm going.
Oh, okay. Well, you know, I was always interested in songs rather than performance. That's kind of where I am. That's quite unusual. Even with me, I the most enjoyable part of the whole process for me is not being in the recording studio and making the record, but it's actually having that blank sheet of paper and looking at it and know that in a minute I'm going to fill it up with words and music. You know. So I guess from that point of view, I used to love, you know, the songwriters, composers, people like that. But my real conscious influence, I suppose, must have been John Lennon, Paul McCartney.
Those are great influences to have. Some of the best in the business, you know. So, but yes, did you get an opportunity to work with? I know you work with a lot of folks. You get an opportunity to work with the Beatles.
Well, I used to come down to London by train, and I had to cram as much in one day as possible because I couldn't afford to stay over. And one of my journeys took me to Apple. The Beatles had just set up this company called Apple in Baker Street in London, and I went along to the offices, and I sort of managed to get a little interview with one of the people there, Mike, somebody his name was, and I was sitting there, and I was absolutely overwhelmed to be in the offices of the Beatles, you know, in Baker Street. And then all of a sudden, the phone rang. I hadn't even got into the interview, and Mike, the guy who's interviewed me, oh, they're here. Oh, okay, hold on. Eddie, hold on. They're here. And all of a sudden, I was sitting there and I looked through the doorway and there was John Lennon and Ringo. Ringo had a little dog. I was frozen. I was frozen. I couldn't believe it. And they went next door into a little room and they played a record by, I don't know whether you've heard of an English band called The Kings. Kings?
I'm not sure if I heard of that.
No, they did do a brilliant band, but John and Ringo played one of their records over and one of their new records over and over and over again, about 10 times, and they just left the building and disappeared. That's the only time I got.
Hey, hold that though. We got to take a station break. But I tell you, whichever platform that you're watching this on, if you want to be part of the conversation, all you have to do is go to the platform that you're watching this on, go to the comments, ask Eddie any question that you might have, or pick up the phone and dial 1-888-344-1170. Let me tell you one more time. That's 1-888-344-1170. You know, so I tell you what, it's your life. We'll be back shortly after the break with some more Eddie Howell.
There's more stories of greatness to help you overcome adversity coming up on It's Your Life with James Cooley.
The James Cooley Show. It's your life. That's right.
Really get a chance to know who you are. And once you know who you are, you truly know who you are, love who you are. Love who you are. You're a masterpiece. Love who you are. Love who you were born to be. Love me some me. That's what I'm talking about. When you leave high school, you gotta know today or tomorrow, hopefully today, what your plans are. Hopefully, there is no bad decision unless there is no plan. Create, collaborate, commit with confidence. Commit with what? Commit with what? And everything that you do.
and heroes, get your copy of Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet by James J.C. Cooley, available on Amazon and everywhere books are sold.
It's the James Cooley Show. It's your life. Dr. James J.C. Cooley.
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, and I tell you, I'm here interviewing Ed Howell, man from Manhattan. This song, we're gonna play that in a minute, and this song, and he's gonna tell us about it once we play it. But I'm just getting a chance to know and understand this young man over in London at the time, and have collaborated with some of the world's greatest musicians. And I'll tell you what, he's a great musician himself. So if you want to be part of this conversation, all you have to do is go to the platform that you're watching us on, or listen to us on, or pick up the phone and dial 1-888-344-1170 KCBQ. AM 1170 Answer, FM 96.1, San Diego. So Eddie, I want to get back to the inspiration. You was talking about the Beatles came in, and you heard do an interview, and you had an opportunity to check them out and listen to how they do things and some of the music that they are practicing on. How do you get inspired on the lyrics that you write to go with the music or the beat or whatever that is? I mean, I guess a lot of people want to know how you guys do that.
Well, I mean, it really is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration, I'm afraid. It really is. You get that flash, that inspiration, that buzz, and you really want to do something with it. I mean, with The Man from Manhattan, the song that I was talking about, before Freddie ever heard it or anything, I wrote it and made a little demo of it. And all I had was, I'm the man from Manhattan. Just that sort of thing, man from Manhattan. That's all I had, But I knew.
Well, I hold that thought, because I want you to talk about this. I'm getting ready to play this song. I'm getting ready to play it. So our viewers and listeners, and then once we play it, we come up, we talk about it. I want to hear all about this. Here we go.
Hey little lady, do you love me as much as you tell me you do? Oh, I'm not the man you think I am. The game I've been playing is through. Hey little girl, do you trust me? Oh, I'm gonna tell you no lies. I'm gonna come clean, don't make a scene. I've been hiding behind a disguise. Oh, I'm the man from Manhattan, Olay. The man with the price on his head. The man from Manhattan, the surface is satin, but the lining is laden with lead. Oh, I've been a fugitive too long, running away from my fame. My enemies flee at the sight of me. They shake at the sound of my name. 'Cause I'm the man from Manhattan, Olay. The man with the price on his head. The man from Manhattan, the surface is satin, but the lining is laden with lead. Don't be afraid, it's only a dream, an imaginary hero, a vision I've seen.
Wow, such a beautiful song, my man.
You just cut it up at Brian May's guitar solo. Brian May was just going to come in with the guitar solo, and you cut it up. Never mind.
I can only dedicate a minute and a half to the song because we have to continue the show.
Thank you anyway. Right.
But No, man, that was an incredible song. I had listened to it, Michelle and I, a few times prior
Oh,
to
okay,
coming on the
right.
air. You know, so wow.
Mm.
Can you said that song was banned back in the 70s, I think. Um,
Yeah, it was banned. It was banned. Freddie's playing piano on that, and he's doing
uh,
backing vocals
Freddie
on it.
Mercury. Or was
Freddie Mercury's
yes.
playing piano,
Mhm.
doing backing vocals, and he produced it. And we brought Brian May in for one day, and he did his guitar solo. Fantastic times they were. But yet it was banned because in this business, the same as any other business, you've got a lot of secret enemies. You know, people who really don't want you to succeed, believe it or believe it not.
Mhm.
You know, and Queen were just on the crest of a wave when I started to work with them. They just done Bohemian Rhapsody, and they were just ready to go to America for the second time, and they just get to number one. So their life changed dramatically in those 2 years that I knew them. Um, so we put the record out. Freddie was in America. And I got a message from David Minns, my manager at the time, who was also in America, saying that the Musicians Union had pulled the record. They decided to put a blanket ban on it. It was getting masses of airplay in the UK. We just lined up for a TV program, getting ready for the charts, of course. And we had the news that the Musicians Union were banning the record because they discovered that one of the players on the record didn't have a work permit, wasn't a member of the MU, and so therefore the record was illegal. In those days, I mean, that sounds really strict, but that's what the Musicians Union was like, I'm afraid, back then, because rock and roll was the enemy, synthesizers, mellotrons, instruments that emulated the whole orchestra, big enemies of the Musicians Union, obviously because of their membership, the trumpet players, and they were being put out of work by these flash new synthesizers and mellotrons. So any opportunities that the Musicians Union got to persecute somebody, some rock and roller, they take. And of course, this was a big fish. It was Freddie Mercury and Brian May. And they've just been told that one of the players on the sessions didn't have a work permit. So they put a ban on it. Radio play overnight just got pulled. Set TV shows got pulled in this country. It was incredible. Couldn't believe it. So I spoke to Freddie. Freddie was just dumbfounded. He couldn't believe it. Nor could anybody else. So top level meetings, because I was signed to Warner Brothers Records then, and top level meetings ensued between Warner Brothers Records execs and the Musicians Union to try and do something about this, but the Musicians Union wouldn't move on it. That's what it was like back then. Of course, it's changed dramatically now.
So, Eddie, when was it reinstated and re-released?
It's we really re-released this particular version of it in April this year.
Oh, okay. The one that I was playing, that version just got released.
That's the version that's the one that we released. Yeah, it's on the album. But Freddie's original version is also on the album as well. And there is a difference. This one we've used all the latest technology that wasn't available to us then. I've taken Freddie's piano up a little bit in volume from the old one because his piano playing was great. I think even himself he underrates it, but he's a great piano player. And I've taken Brian May's guitar up a little bit, and we've added a couple of little bits and pieces here and there. But we've kept the original as well, so people can hear about it.
Wow, I love the song.
Thank you. Right.
It
was the first trip I ever made to America. I went to Manhattan, and I was reading a paperback by a guy called Mario Puzo, who wrote The Godfather. and it was called The Godfather Papers, and it was about the mafia. And I don't know why, but I was always kind of fascinated by that duality of the mafia. You know, they come across like very respectable, upright citizens, but in fact, you know, they were, you know, different people behind the scenes. So, and I was always fascinated by that. And that song was about the man. I was the godson. I had a wife and a family, and I had to tell my wife that I was not the man she thought I was. I don't go to the office every day. That's basically, I'm the man from Manhattan, the man with the price on his head, the man from Manhattan. Surface is satin, but the lining is laden with lead and all that. So it was about dual nature. And some people have said that when Freddie heard that lyric, because he was going through a big change in his life at that time, you know, coming out as being, you know, left Mary stuff. And he saw that lyric, I think, and kind of it resonated with him because it was a person who had a dual thing going on with their own life. And I think that really piqued his interest, maybe, you know. But he did like the music as well.
You know, we're gonna take a station break in about a minute, but when we come back, I want to discuss your first meeting with Queens, how you start gelling with them, and how you, you know, help innovate some of their music and other things that you're doing. With them, and some of the other artists that you are working with.
I know there's a few more things I'd like to tell you about this.
Well, we're gonna have to take a station break, but we still got 2 more segments. So we're gonna come back and we're gonna talk about all of those great things. And I tell you what, wherever you're watching us at, if you want to be part of the conversation, because you're already part of the conversation, you're wondering. Well, don't just wonder. Go to the comments. Ask Eddie Howell any question that you might have. Or you can pick up the phone and dial 1-888-344-1170. Again, that's 1-888-344-1170. Remember, it's your life. And we'll see you shortly after the break.
There's more stories of greatness to help you overcome adversity coming up on It's Your Life with James Cooley.
Craving a slice of Chicago right here in Temecula wine country? Then dive into legendary Chicago deep dish style pizza at Rosati's Pizza Pub. Piled high with gooey cheese, rich tomato sauce, and your favorite toppings, Rosati's delivers the taste of the Windy City right to your table or front door. Enjoy the cozy pub atmosphere and an impressive selection of Temecula wines. Come on down to Rosati's Pizza Pub for your slice of Chicago right here on Rancho California Road, or order online at myrosatis.com. Rosati's, where Chicago deep dish pizza meets Temecula charm.
Country boy, city boy, a journey that ain't over.
Doctor, James, JC, Cooley, James, Cooley, show, it's go.
Noah Dingley here, producer of The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life. And the new audio version of James' book, Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet, is a must-have. James shares his true life story of struggle and success in America. It's both a cautionary tale and a roadmap to achieving the American dream. Get the new audio version of Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet by James Cooley on Amazon.com or wherever audiobooks are sold.
to understand that their current situation is not their final destination. Country Boy, City Boy, a journey that ain't over yet, is the unfiltered truth to provide hope for the future by challenging you to refuse to become a victim of life's circumstance and dare to become an overcomer, because a bigger, better, and more impactful life awaits you. Get the new audio version of his book, Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet, by Dr. James Cooley, on Amazon or wherever books are sold.
Let's go, let's go, let's go. It's James Cooley Show. It's your life. Dr. James.
Wow. You know, hey, I'm having so much fun with this guest we have on the show, Mr. Eddie Howell. London. He's over in London right now. You just heard a part of the song, Man from Manhattan. And one thing I did not ask you, Eddie, was, is there a complete album already released on that?
Is there what, sorry?
Album, multiple songs.
Yeah. The album is here.
Oh.
Box there. And you open it up and you've got, should be a painting there, sorry. You've got the handmade, hand-painted picture of Freddie and I that is on the front there. And you've got a few things in there, you know, it's a little box there. You've got a poster, plectrum, some white vinyl, a little.
Wow.
I was talking to Eddie earlier in the show. We were talking about how many albums we have, and just we're never going to throw them away because they're like vintage. They're like they're a keepsake, and you know, we will always keep our LPs.
Gotta always keep. Hey, before we start this segment, I always have to bring my producer in because I need for him to grade us on where we're going and tell us a little bit about what his thoughts is on the show. So Todd, I'll put you on the spot. How you do?
I tell you, James, this is a great show. I'm being educated and entertained at the same time. I'm taking notes and I'm eating popcorn. I started off with like 5 bags of popcorn. I'm down to 2 bags of popcorn. Such a great show. Let's get right back to it. What's your next question for your fabulous guest?
Well, Michelle got that one.
Well, you know, Eddie, let me ask you something. When the artists that you work with, right? Does there have to be? Do you always have to get along with them, or just does it have to be a certain type of chemistry, or can you separate if you don't get along with them just by how brilliant they are, whether as a producer or a songwriter?
It's sometimes very good to work with somebody that you don't know, because you don't know, you're discovering them. There's no animosity, there's no side or anything like that. And all you're trying to do is please that other person, be as good as you can, because you want to impress. You know, I can do this, I can do that, and that's the way it was with most of the people I've actually worked with. So wow. And it's great working with musicians anyway, because there's none of that. So there's not much competitive stuff going on, although people think there is. There's not really, you know.
What music do you play? Any musical instruments?
Yeah. I play guitar, piano, and a little bit of clarinet. Write mainly on guitar at the moment, but you know, it changes from time to time.
Oh,
but
okay.
with I think I was going to tell you something a little bit about the Man from Manhattan and how I met Freddie and stuff. If you want,
yes, tell us about that.
I think I explained before, I was always really more interested in songwriting than performing. Although I did have bands and I was performing, I was always, my first love was songwriting.
Mm-hmm.
And I managed to get a publishing deal with Chrysalis, moved from Birmingham to London, and then met David Minns, who got me a recording deal with Warner Brothers Records. I couldn't believe he'd done it, you know, because I didn't really want it. He'd done it, you know. Here we are with recording deal with the biggest record label on the planet, you know.
Mhm.
And suddenly I'm in the studio, and I befriended a guy called Robin Lumley, who is a fantastic keyboard player, or was. And he was working with Phil Collins at the time. Phil Collins at Genesis. And they had a band called Brand X, which was really Phil Collins's alter ego, because he really fancied himself as a jazz drummer rather than a rock and roll drummer. Brand X were like progressive jazz, I suppose, or whatever you want to call them, jazz fusion. And they backed me on my first album with Warner Brothers, my debut album. And it was incredible to be working with Phil Collins. I mean, I was just fresh from Birmingham, you know, with my wife and kid. We lived in a little caravan up there, you know, and all of a sudden, you know, I'm in the big smoke working with Phil Collins. So we launched this album at a club in London, and Phil was playing congas at the gig, and I had a band and stuff like that. About halfway through the second number, I looked across the room and saw David Minns, my manager, walk in the club with somebody who looked like Freddie Mercury. And as it got closer, of course, it was actually Freddie Mercury. David knew a guy called John Reed. John Reed used to manage Elton John, and they were friends. And Queen at that time would be managed by John Reed. So I suppose that's how they met. But I was playing on stage there, launching the album, with Phil Collins on one side playing congas and Freddie Mercury on the other side, just watching the band. So it was a bit of a challenge, to say the least, you know. But got through it okay, I think. We played Man from Manhattan in the set. It wasn't on the album, but we played it. It was a freshly written song. And as soon as the thing was over, David Minns, my manager, introduced me to Freddie. Freddie said, "I love the song Man from Manhattan. Can I produce it?" Basically, I'm you know, encapsulating the sentence. But, and of course, that's how it started. You know, that's how it started. That's how
Wow.
we got.
So what was it like working? Did you and Freddie and styles, do they complement each other? Was it just like working with him? Were you just overwhelmed, or you were just amazed of his talent? Can you kind of describe that?
Well, at first, I was a bit apprehensive about doing it because I knew it was going to end up sounding like Queen. Yeah. And he did mention the fact that he'd like to pull Brian May in to play guitar. So I thought, oh, you know, but I won't use John or Roger, he said. Roger, I guess, you know, the identity of Queen is through Roger and, through Brian and Freddie, as opposed to John and Roger. So, you know, you're using Freddie, and so it's going to sound like Queen. And I was a little bit concerned about that because the Man from Manhattan wasn't anything like Queen when I recorded it. It was more kind of jazzy, I guess. Sweet. But, you know, working with somebody with such a defined musical presence as Freddie, it's bound to, I'm bound to, the song is going to get that influence, you know. And I remember when we recorded it, I recorded it in the key that I wrote it in, which was a G, which was fine for me. And it was, you know, I could actually jazz it up a little bit. And I was doing that, and Freddie burst into the studio where I was working. He said, "Eddie, you've got to take it up. You've got to take it up, dear. You must take it up. You know, that's the way you're going to get it sounding really exciting."
I said, hold that though. We got to take a station break. But we coming back. We're going to pick it up. I ain't going to let you off the hook like that, Eddie. You're going to have to tell me more. You know, and tell our viewers more.
I hope I'm not waffling on too much. Yeah.
So I tell you what, this is fantastic. You already know it. Whichever platform that you're watching this on, I know you are having a great time. I am. And if you want to be part of the conversation, just go to the comments, ask any questions that you might have, or pick up the phone and dial 1-888-344-1170. Again, that's 344-1170. KCBQ, AM 1170 and Answer, FM 96.1. The Answer San Diego is your life, and we'll see you shortly after the break.
There's more stories of greatness to help you overcome adversity coming up on It's Your Life with James Cooley.
A black man's point of view is the...
Let's go, let's go, let's go. It's the James Cooley Show. It's your life. Dr. James JC Cooley. All right.
Hello, I'm Dr. James J.C. Cooley from the United States of America, and I am here to just say, first of all, I'm so happy and honored to be in the Coffee Book 2023, Unified Brain Z and the other organizations. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to be a part of this collection.
Deep South town and realization that life would never be the same. Cooley lays out his struggle to adjust from city life to country life and back again, sharing his hard-earned lessons to educate, encourage, and enlighten our next generation of leaders and heroes. Get your copy of Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet by James J.C. Cooley, available on Amazon and everywhere books are sold.
Craving a slice of Chicago right here in Temecula wine country? Then dive into legendary Chicago deep dish style pizza at Rosati's Pizza Pub. Piled high with gooey cheese, rich tomato sauce, and your favorite toppings, Rosati's delivers the taste of the Windy City right to your table or front door. Enjoy the cozy pub atmosphere and an impressive selection of Temecula wines. Come on down to Rosati's Pizza Pub for your slice of Chicago right here on Rancho California Road, or order online at myrosatis.com. Rosati's, where Chicago deep dish pizza meets Temecula charm.
Yeah. Dr. James J.C. Cooley.
Wow. I am so much enjoying this interview, Todd. I'm enjoying this interview. Now I had to sit back and think, I got to play that whole song. I got to play the whole one. Eddie already gave me permission to do that, where they're not going to come at me, and not them, him personally. But the industry not gonna come up to me and jump on me for copyright infringement. So I just want to say one more time, Eddie, I can do it, right?
Brilliant. Yeah.
Okay. So this is, I'm gonna play the whole song this time, and then we gonna come back here about 6 minutes, and Eddie and we're gonna chop it up, because I want to know more about Queen Freddie Mercury, and a lot of other things he's doing. So here we go.
Hey little lady, do you love me as much as you tell me you do? Oh, I'm not the man you think I am. The game I've been playing is through. Hey little girl, do you trust me? Oh, I'm gonna tell you no lies. I'm gonna come clean, don't make a scene. I've been hiding behind fugitive too long, running away from my fame. My enemies flee at the sight of me. They shake at the sound of my name. 'Cause I'm the man from Manhattan, Wale, the man with a price on his head. The man from Manhattan, the surface is satin, but the lining is laden with lead. Don't be afraid, it's only a dream, an imaginary hero, a vision I've seen. I know my true destination. The day will eventually come. I tell you, my friend, I know my end will be when I'm standing alone in the sights of the gun. Oh, I'm the man from Manhattan, Wale, the man with the price on his head. The man from Manhattan, the surface is satin, but the lining is laden with lead. 'Cause I'm the man from Manhattan, Wale, the man with the price on his head. The man from Manhattan, the surface is satin, but the lining is laden with lead.
Man, I love that song, Eddie. Hey, man,
Yes.
that's Queen all the way.
The instrument that took the longest to record was that bell at the end.
Oh man, that must have been fun.
Yeah, yeah. It was
Working with
fun. No,
Brian and Freddie and putting that together. What was the collaboration like?
oh, it was great. Yeah, I used to go around to Freddie's place a couple of times to rehearse the track, and he was just full of ideas all the time. We used to drive to the studio, and he had this little cassette machine full of ideas, with backing vocals and stuff like that. He was a dynamo. I mean, he was incredibly creative all the time. I'm the case. And he had just a tape recorder stuffed with lots of money and all those backing vocals and stuff. Incredible, really. The way things really quick.
When did you decide to do the lyrics for the song? Was it always in place that you were going to do that? I'm talking about for Man from Manhattan.
How do you mean, James?
The lyric, you
Yeah.
singing that song right there?
Yeah.
That was,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm talking about it was fantastic.
Oh, the lyric, yeah. It was, as I said, it was just, really a reflection of that book I'd been reading by Mario Puzo about the mafia and about the dual identity that the singer had. I was the mafia singing. I was the man from Manhattan, in fact, walking down the end of the road with my briefcase and, in fact, changing, at the end of the road when the wife wasn't looking into my mafia costume, whatever that might be. That was the kind of thing it was.
Wow. Hey, Todd, do you have a question? I know we got 4 minutes left. For this great musician, do you have a question?
Eddie, is there a current musician that you would love to write a song for?
Yeah, Taylor Swift, because she sells more than anybody else.
There you go.
That's a good one, man. That's a good one. Hey, Eddie, can you please tell our viewers and our listeners again how they can get the album, how they can contact you? I'm talking about if they or enlist in your services, or just get in touch. But primarily the album and is sold wherever albums are sold. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean they've recently been sent out to the shops now worldwide. So hopefully they'll be in your area soon. Uh,
Mhm.
Best thing to do is the website, which is www.themanfrommanhattan.com. Themanfrommanhattan.com is the website, and it'll tell you everything you need to know there. And hopefully you'll be able to buy records from the website. So
Well, I mean, but it's gonna be digital in stores as well, along with the
yeah,
album.
yeah, sure. It is at the moment. It's building up. I don't know what the situation is like in America quite at the moment. I'll find out very soon. But we're growing, we're expanding it. It's been out for a few months now, but we're just slowly pushing it. And it's getting some great reactions on that.
Well, we're gonna push them, put them on all of my websites, and we're
Oh,
out of
really?
time right now. We're out of time, but you have been absolutely fantastic,
How have
and
you, James? It's been very enjoyable. Great.
and I tell you what, maybe your peeps get back in touch with us, and we might be able to get you back on again
Love to
one
do.
of these days. But I tell you, thank you so much. I'd like to thank Dr. Michelle Cooley for putting together another absolutely fantastic show. I'd like to thank my producers at KCBQ. AM 1170 ounce FM 96.1. But most importantly, I'd like to thank our viewers and listeners for tuning into my show Monday through Friday, live on all my platforms at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I tell you what, always dream big, think big, and be big. We'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same place. It's your life.
Hey, it's Jeff from the Hit Center.